notes for Knife Fork Spoon. Fun. Talk shit. We're getting there. We're on there.
Solid.
Okay. Are we recording?
We have been recording
Yeah,
the whole
been
time.
going. Just in case any funny things were said.
Game one will be Brighton and Man United. Scott, your game.
All right.
Take us away with the summary.
I did watch it. I was up Saturday night and I watched 3 games. Well, 2.5. Very poor from United. We are still a bit not ready to go in a certain way. Brighton were awesome. They were really good. On another day, like I reckon after a few more games, and Man United's kind of got the counter-attack down right. Maybe we could have done something different, but we let Brighton have a lot of possession and they attacked us, and then we would get the ball, but Brighton prevented that outlet. Like it had to be pinpoint perfect to like straight. Like the Rashford goal was like the counter attack, which had to happen, but they're hard to do, so it's not going to happen every time. But as a wise man once said, football is about scoring goals, not hitting the crossbar. Bruno Fernandes said that.
Record.
And that is the difference. Because Brighton hit the crossbar, hit the post like 5 or 6 times during that game.
Record amount.
But as good as Brighton will play if you don't take the chances, and I'm not going to say Man United's goals were quite questionable, especially after the full-time whistle's been blown, handball comes back, and we score a penalty in the 100th minute in stoppage time to win the match. I'm not going to be proud of the 3 points, but I'm glad we got them. Best goal of the game, Rashford's. It might have taken a deflection, but that whole run it's just jizz. And then man of the match would be Brighton's March, but since they lost, it would probably go to Fernandes. But he was unreal for them.
He gave away the penalty though, right?
Who?
He gave away the penalty when Lamptey went down.
It was very soft, but yes, he did. But he also assisted and scored, so... But I would give... if winning and losing didn't matter, I would pick March. He was just on that left wing, up and down constantly. And that goal was coming.
Was he left back or left mid or left wing?
Left wing back.
Okay.
But throughout that entire match, we'd been leaving that back post open the entire time. And it was just bound to happen. Like, I don't know if Wan-Bissaka was just too inside because Maguire and Lindelof can't defend, or Fernandes or Greenwood weren't coming back. But just, it was open constantly, and then eventually happened, and I was not surprised. Because in the 75th minute, we subbed on Bailly. So what does that mean? And it doesn't matter. Like Premier League level, if you're going to sit back and defend for 15 minutes, you're going to give the best teams in England the opportunity to constantly attack you, and most likely it will at least give them 3 big goal-scoring opportunities, which they could and / should take. So we need to be better. Man United have Tottenham this week, so we need to be much, much better.
I still think Tottenham are a bit inconsistent, but we'll talk about them in a bit.
Yeah.
What's the next game?
The next game is Spurs versus Tottenham.
Sorry? What? Spurs versus Tottenham.
Spurs versus Newcastle, sorry.
Spurs versus Newcastle. Spurs versus himself. Eric Diarrhea.
Yeah, in a really short overview, it looked like a lot of Spurs. Tottenham had a lot of chances early. The Newcastle keeper, Darlow, actually pulled off a handful of really good saves.
I actually didn't mind him last season.
Yeah, he looked good. He made a couple of crackers. Harry Kane looked okay. Looked to be creating chances, not only looking at...
He's creating more.
Another assist.
Yeah.
5 assists for the season.
Tottenham hit the bar twice. And Darlow pulled off a heap of good saves. And then obviously the very late penalty, which was... Look, I don't know how you handle that. His arm was out.
How far out? I thought it was like...
When he jumped...
It's like at his side, though.
No, it was kind of out and about.
I heard that a Newcastle player's actually come into his back. Might not be a lot, but enough.
He was in the air, and the header came down, and his arm was out of his body, and it struck.
Well, that's sort of why I wanted to watch
Unfortunately,
it. But like what I heard is like someone came in enough on his back. So I mean, so in a way, Dyer's actually been knocked off balance. So humanly, instinctively, you're going to come in try and adjust your balance, and then it struck his arm. There's
the
nothing
ruling
you can
is
do. There's
the ruling.
nothing you can do about
yes,
that.
but
though.
if your arm is extended away from your body and it affects the play, then unfortunately that's a ruling, right? Is that correct? So unfortunately, it's a penalty.
Well, it's the new heavily enforced handing rules. It's just very weird that we've had so many of these controversial handballs in the last 2 weeks.
I think if I was the referee and they've headed it back towards the box, it wasn't, tough one, but it was a penalty.
It was like you to me away. So it's not like...
No, they were close.
There's not enough time. That's what I mean. They were close. There's no reaction time.
Penalty
anyway,
for me.
But it goes back to...
Doesn't matter. It's same. Newcastle had one. Crystal Palace, Everton had one.
It goes back to that. It goes back to your Man U Crystal Palace.
Yep, there was the same like that last week.
It's apparently it's no longer a influence in the play is now the biggest.
Well, that's the thing. It's not.
Thing
It's
that
not.
they're
It's
looking
not
at.
about football. It's not about football enjoyment anymore because the Premier League is at the end an entertainment business. More handballs, more penalties, more goals.
That's rubbish.
More entertainment.
Nah, that's rubbish.
Well,
When do they listen to what fans want?
That's rubbish.
I saw a stat where apparently
More
if
Penalties aren't more entertaining.
If
I'm sorry,
they're-
so
more
that's
goals.
rubbish.
You
No, that's
look at the
rubbish.
score. That's more
Rubbish.
goals. More goals.
if they go off the same ratio of penalties that have been given so far this season, over the whole course of the season, we're on track for 292 penalties.
Yeah,
And the
well,
record,
maybe
and
it's
the
just
record already is like 120 or something.
Someone close to that. But again, they're trying to enforce this rule because it is a grey area where the line hits here, but unfortunately, influence in the play, hand, the only way you can get away from it is when it's tucked to your body. If it's out anyway, in any any way, shape or form, you're balancing yourself, whatever it is, it's going to be given a handball and we know it.
I think the referee should be able to judge whether or not it's sort of, because I mean, like, if someone is like running up, like they've dived or something, they're trying to tuck their arms in as much as they can. Maybe it's out of touch, and someone's taken a shot and it's hit their hand. Is that handball or is that unintentional? Because unintentional handball is kind of a thing. It's like they've just got rid of it. It's like it strikes the hand, penalty. That's another goal.
Yeah.
Entertaining.
Nah. Much else to add to the game?
Not really.
Who was your player of the game, do you reckon? Who looked the best?
I think it was good to see Kane back, looking good, creating chances. Newcastle, I think, are gonna. Yeah, look, they were on the back foot most of the game. So none of us picked them though, did they? As our underdog side.
Who, Tottenham?
No, Newcastle.
Oh,
No.
Newcastle's a fan favourite, but I don't think it's going to be an underdog.
They're a good, consistent Premier League team. Like they'll get a result out of you if you're not playing up to scratch.
I think any club you've noticed now that basically any club can take points.
Everyone's gone down with a 5,
except for Fulham.
The next match was Sheffield Leeds. Once again, another big point for the goalkeeper.
Yes.
Did you see
The
that
Leeds-
save?
the Leeds
Meslier?
keeper.
Unbelievable
Meslier?
save.
No, I did not see it.
No, it's unbelievable point blank save.
I would have seen it if we watched the highlights.
Maybe you should watch them before today.
But it wasn't just him. The Sheffield keeper Ramsdale looks like one of the signings, like a little
They
hidden...
signed him from Bournemouth, right?
Yes, like a hidden gem signing because he looked good. And it was unfortunate that the goal, Dale will touch on, but
Scott.
it was a goalkeeper's game.
It was. There was even Sheffield's keeper had a good game.
Yes, it was a goalkeeper's game, and it's unfortunate. 0-0 would have reflected the 0-0 would have reflected that game. Yeah, 0-0.
Saves like that are actually on par with
The goal.
being a goal.
Yeah, 0-0 would have reflected, 2 clean sheets, both getting a clean sheet, shared points because they just had a gun game. But
Those sort of saves, though, where's the line drawn where that's a fantastic save or the striker should have scored?
He should have scored.
well, okay, put it this way:
I hate that line.
the only way I say is a good save is when the keeper is tested past his range of his body. So when it's past this, if they point blank hit it and it hits his body, yes, it's a bad shot. But he actually hit it to the side and he actually had to react down to the low.
That's ours as outfield players' take on it too. Like we aren't
'Cause-
goalkeepers. At the end of the day, that to me, the ball's gone across. So he's already moving his body away and then had to come back across and low.
and low and point
fast.
blank, and it just happened so
But
quickly.
as a striker, open, free. The ball's rolling. It's not bouncing.
He had some pressure on his back.
I'm sorry. Got to score.
Rushing in.
Got to score.
Their first job is to put on target. Second job is to put it past the keeper.
Got to score.
He's done both. The keeper just got down and made a great save.
He's not done.
We can
done both. He didn't get past the goalkeeper.
Well, he put it past him in terms of where the keeper was.
I'm saying if that ball rifles into the side of the net, we're more like, yep, should have scored that.
To be fair, then you get goals.
Obviously.
Then you get goals like Lacazette's. Sometimes they just go in. You
Yeah.
can't. Yeah, it's just you get a mixed bag. But that's what I mean. Like, I find that one funny sometimes because it's just like some people are so. It's like a professional striker is to score goals, and it's like, yeah, well, a professional goalkeeper is going to stop the goal going in. So I mean, like, someone could put an awesome shot, like from inside the 18-yard box, going away from the goalkeeper, and he saves it. So, but then they go, instead of going like, that was a fantastic save, they kind of still favor the should have scored over the fantastic save, because if the keeper didn't save it, guess what it was going? It was going to be a goal.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a great save, but I'm sorry. In between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box, no one around you. You've got to score.
In my mind, 2 jobs.
it was going to be a
2
goal
jobs.
if he didn't save it.
2 jobs.
He could have missed
It's a
it.
great save, but he should
But
have
then
scored.
if he missed it, could you have said keeper should have saved that?
No, not at all from that position.
See, it's harsh.
For a striker at point blank like that, yes, they should always score, but they have 2 jobs. Put on target
Score.
and hit it past the keeper.
Who cares how you do
In
it?
terms of not in line with him.
It is. It's
Who cares how you do it?
testing the keeper at getting it on target is like the least.
Anyone in this room will tell you when the ball's coming across the box like it was, you hit it back the opposite way, correct? He did that. He hit it past the keeper.
But he was straight on, so he could almost open his body, or he could play it
The
inside.
keeper was going that way.
I'll give him points. It's still a
I'm just
reaction.
saying, either way.
It's still a reaction save, so I'll give him points for that. It's not like
I'm not
it came
putting
straight
it
at
against
him.
the goalkeeper. I'm saying it was a fantastic save. I just
But he should have
equally
scored.
think the striker
I think
should be doing better.
I think the striker's done his job.
No, I think he should be doing better than that.
I mean, like the keeper's. It's a little whatever. Again, that'll just go around in circles.
It will.
Anyway.
Anything else to touch on with that game?
Well, player of the match.
Where are Leeds?
Well,
right?
I
where
like
are they
Phillips.
where
The
are
whole-
they in the table now? Where are Leeds in the table? Sorry, where are Leeds on the table?
Leeds have won
2 games.
2 out of the 3
So where are they?
because they obviously lost to Liverpool. It doesn't really matter about the table right now. We're only a few games in.
Mid-table. Which I
But-
think they're
Okay,
going to go
you-
higher.
It's a
Who'd you
good
like?
start.
So who did you like?
I like Phillips, the holding midfielder.
He's good.
Caught up to England.
Yeah, I like him. I think he looks really good. He controlled the game. Be interesting to watch him again because he did control the game against Liverpool, but it was first. So
Everyone
first game.
did tip him to be a player who might get signed to a different club. But I feel like he's going to pull a Kante and like show how good he is in the first and maybe get picked up in January.
Yeah, Burnley, Southampton.
Danny Ings was obviously the best player because he scored. But then my
just
only
flip through it then.
only other thing about the goal is the only other thing about the game is just from one of the highlights that I watched. I thought Burnley scored, but it was ruled off for offside. But I sort of don't think it was offside. So I mean, like, yes, the Burnley player was in an offside position when the pass was made. He like sort of chased it, but not enough. Like the defender still got there with quite some yards between him and the defender. Then the Southampton defender has tried a back pass to the goalkeeper, messed up the back pass. The Burnley
onside
Burnley
then.
player has got it and scored. So I mean, like, that's what I mean. Unless the linesman's been harsh and pinning him for giving the Southampton defender slight chase, like that influence to put that tiny bit of pressure on him was deemed offside. That's the only thing I can think of, because when a back pass is made, Lacazette would have been offside if they broke that down. But the back pass should have ruled off how he was offside in the earlier play. But that was it. Other than that, I thought that was a goal. If that's the only way they could pin that for offside, I thought it was very harsh. But again, for the highlights I saw, it was more Southampton than Burnley, but it looked like a pretty end-to-end match. So
Chelsea, West Brom. West Brom, Chelsea.
I watched the first half of that.
Yeah, well, look, after going back and watching the replay, I don't think Chelsea copped it, right?
Yep.
Chelsea, everyone has just destroyed them on the media, whatever. So be it. Of course they're going to do. There's people out there that just are sitting around waiting to do that. We know that for a fact.
Bunch of Simons.
So once again, Chelsea seem to control and keep a fair amount of possession, but they're not critical up top. Mm-hmm. So that seems to be the issue. And this would be the strongest lineup that I think I would have picked. I wanted to see Tammy up front. I wanted to see Havertz in behind. I wanted to see Mount. And I wanted to see Werner out wide and see how that looked. Unfortunately, it still just didn't seem to look like we were penetrating enough. You look at the goals. Burnley, West Brom's first goal. He took it well. Could the defenders challenge it a bit more? Maybe. Alonso gave a crap ball away. A couple of instances just before that.
Lampard told him about it too.
No, Lampard went off at him because...
No, in the after-game interview.
Yes. I'll talk about Alonso quickly at the end.
Yeah.
Differently. But one of the key parts of the game is at 1-0 down, Tammy had a fantastic chance. Missed. And Timo Werner had a fantastic chance too. So one of them goes in. Totally different game. I know we could say that about a lot of things. You obviously saw the Thiago Silva mistake. The whole social media and internet in the world has taken that by storm.
Of course they do.
It is what it is. I mean, you think about all the things that have changed in his life in the last 4 weeks. It's a mistake.
Mistakes happen, but same with what Van Dijk did against Leeds
Correct.
in round one. It's just sometimes players do make mistakes, but then when a defender makes a mistake, it's
critical.
Much more critical.
But apart from that, Thiago looked really good. He played good football. He seemed to command and control the back line. Yeah, it is what it is.
I just don't know why he's captain if he doesn't speak English.
I don't agree with the captaincy, but it is...
That was weird.
But answer me this. Apart from him, do you see anyone else leading that team? See, Dad blew up. Dad was like, how is he already captain? And I sat back for a second. I went, I can't see anyone else. Like Alonso, I don't see him wearing the band. I can't see Mount. I can't see Abraham.
Well, that's what I mean,
I can't see Werner. I can't see Havertz. Can't see Willie.
You can't do Kante either.
I can't see anyone. Like, he has experience to lead, I think.
He must have just had an influence. That's what happens. Like, you just must have had an influence coming in. I mean, Maguire's our captain, and he apparently is good off the field captaincy. He's a bit quiet on the field, everyone says. But, obviously, who we had for captain options was, De Gea and Pogba, and I don't really think they're captain material. Whereas I think, in your case, Aubameyang's not been there the longest, but his attitude and maybe his mentality and how he's with the team makes him fit for the job. Maybe Thiago Silva's just come in.
Lampard has already said in the interviews. Lampard said in the interviews that you can just see his presence in the changing room and at training and things like that.
He's got the leadership trait,
yes,
like on FIFA.
Yeah,
the three of them that it goes between is him, Azpilicueta, and Jorginho.
Yeah,
they're the three.
That actually comes up a management.
Correct.
That actually comes up a management if you go to a club and there's a captain there, but someone else has the leadership trait and they're not captain. You get an email and they go, "We suggest you make this person captain." And you'll be like,
"That's funny."
I just got an email from Theo Walcott saying welcome to the club, boss. I'm excited to do this season. And we're like, oh, me too. Oh, you're not captain.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to Coleman.
But yeah, so your player of the match?
Well, hang on a minute.
He's not done yet. It's Chelsea. He's not done yet.
Well, yeah, okay. So all I want to say is that he made changes at half-time, took Alonso off, brought Callum Hudson-Odoi on. Hudson-Odoi brought energy and actually for the first time this season looked pretty good and seemed to link up well with the guys up front.
It's the third game.
Mount, mate, Carabao Cup yesterday, he was rubbish.
Yeah.
The end of last season after COVID, rubbish.
All right, so he's showing potential finally.
2 seasons ago, he was our best player. Anyway, before he got injured. Over and all, the guys, they did well to turn it around in the second half and looked a lot better. But at the moment, yeah, it's still early.
You guys are definitely not a trailing team. I mean, I think if it was anyone else other than West Brom, I reckon you might not have fought back to get a result.
Oh, probably not.
It was they just play very slow. They'll pass the ball around. They'll keep possession. They'll pass as much as they can. They have the second most passes in the league. Oh, I need to double check it because there was a few other rounds. But when I checked, they were the second highest passes. First is Everton, but Everton have been scoring ridiculously. So maybe they just need. That's why I think Warner or something will give it that extra bit of. Penetration and hunger. Chelsea need to be leading. They need to have scored in the first half an hour.
Saw glimpses of Havertz and what he might be able to do. So
Okay.
Yeah, that hat trick would have done him good in the middle of the week.
They weren't that flashy of goals, but
It's still confidence.
No, goals are goals.
Yeah,
but
still confidence.
It was against Burnley.
So touch on, yes, he brought on a door. He looked good.
yeah, that's it. I'm done.
Well,
Alonso went off at half time and basically went to the team bus and went to watch the rest of the game on his phone. Lampard apparently went and got him and gave him an absolute dressing down at the end of the game.
Oh, he was shocking.
So, and he was left out of the squad this morning. Yesterday, and left
He's
out.
Probably most likely. Well, is transfer market still open?
Crystal Palace, Everton
today.
Well, so obviously not good performances from our two teams. Palace Everton was a good game. I really enjoyed watching it. Usually, I sometimes get the habit of just flicking onto my phone for a few minutes at a time, but I was actually content and watched pretty much 99% of this bloody game. It was a good end to end. They had Palace with the flashy quick wingers, and then Everton were Everton are so good this year. My dark horse pick.
Who have they played?
They've played. Who do they beat? They beat Tottenham 1-0.
That's the only argument that people are bringing up about them.
Yeah, they beat Tottenham, then West Brom and Palace. But Palace should not be underestimated this year. They controlled the game quite a lot.
Let's see once they get a tougher opponent.
I'm excited for the Merseyside derby, but they play really well. Like, I want to see how they go against Liverpool, and that comes up in the next few weeks.
That'll be good.
A player that I liked was this young fella from Crystal Palace, like Eze
from the Championship,
they
right?
signed him from Queen's Park Rangers for 20 mil, and he looked good. He kind of like, I reckon once he's kind of settles and he's on the opposite wing with Zaha, I reckon he'll be trouble. Because he reminded me a lot of Willian. And I'd said another player that he reminds me of, because like he gets the ball, he's very quick with his feet, and his control of it was amazing. And when he gets swarmed, he'll come out, get some room, and lay it back. Like he never really
gives the ball away.
He never like got tackled, and the only times he lost possession was when maybe one of his long passes were a bit over or a bit short, but I think he'll adjust and he'll get better as he goes. But I liked him, but other than that, like Everton, I could pick like 6 players that I enjoyed watching. Like James Rodriguez was like sparkles whenever he touched anything. Everything he touches is amazing. Andre Gomez was like the shabby Alonso of Everton now. He just floats in the background. He's not going to stand out like Calvert-Lewin or Richarlison or Hamas, but he'll just do his job in that midfield, and he is so good.
They're your best defensive midfielders.
That Allen he's Everton's Kante. He's so good and he's so quick. Like soon as they lost possession, West Brom turned to try and get out of that midfield. He was there, hungry, and he was like Gattuso, that Italian bulldog, just all over him. And I really enjoyed watching Everton. They were good.
Big one of the shock results of the week. Obviously, City.
Sorry, who was your player of the match?
Oh yeah, so
if you could individually choose one player that stood out, because I know you just said about 7.
I'd said a lot of players. Like I'm sorry, I enjoyed watching all of it. It was really good.
Stand
Even Palace
out,
had good ones.
Rodriguez probably, I'm guessing. Or you seem to talk up Allen a lot, like he was it defensively.
Digne, the left back for Everton.
It's the one player you didn't mention.
I said
I love this.
I've split like the midfield were awesome, but I was saying I enjoyed watching everyone. Palace were good, Everton were good.
I love those games.
And then you're like, who's your one standout player? I'm like, Andre Gomez was awesome and he was consistent, but he kind of went off. Decore in it again. The midfield is shared between them 3 in the middle. Hamas has his moments getting forward and stuff, but it was only 2-1.
Digne's consistency,
But Digne was up that wing. He was putting crosses in. Calvert-Lewin was always dangerous.
That's good.
So I liked him. If I had to pick one player from Everton.
Yeah, hopefully he keeps consistency up, because he was good last season, but just not that consistency.
But yes, we did kind of talk about it the other week that if Everton were to get 2 or 3 injuries, I don't know how their depth is. I know they still have like players like Bernard, Theo Walcott still at Everton.
Yeah.
I don't even know their secondary striker. Calvert-Lewin gets injured, I don't know who's going in.
Richarlison will play top by himself.
He'll get put in there, and then Bernard maybe go out the wing. But that's what I mean. I don't know who their backups are.
Sigurdsson played up top at Swansea for a bit.
Sigurdsson's on the bench. He got subbed on.
He ain't getting into that team at the moment.
He's not, unfortunately, considering he's Everton's record signing. And you can tell he's not enjoying on the bench because, like, you think of Sigurdsson, you think of his free kicks and his ripper long-range shots. He had a perfect opportunity to shoot. He got an Aubameyang trademark situation. Cut in on the left on his right foot, and you think Sigurdsson's past goals with Swansea and everything.
On the bench for Everton was Kenny, Sigurdsson, Tom Davies, not a bad midfielder.
No, he got
Alex Iwobi.
Yeah, he's inconsistent.
His
Bernard
final product's
and
not
Moise Keane.
Moise Keane, he hasn't grown into it too much yet.
Well, he needs to get loaned out somewhere and get some experience. Honestly, I would just send everyone to the championship.
On the bench for
That is a hard division. Tammy Abraham was loaned out to the championship for a year. Now look at him now.
Struggling.
He's not struggling. That's after
Look at the
Chelsea
bench
have
for Crystal
signed 8
Palace.
superstars.
Look at the bench for Crystal Palace.
I know.
Batshuayi, Benteke,
Lit.
Martin Kelly. Yeah, right. Anyway, next game. One of the shocks of the round, I think. One of maybe two.
Yeah, 2.
Man City, Leicester.
Look,
Pester United.
Yeah,
Pester City.
Best way to describe this was Leicester. At first, I was literally texting my mate, and I was like, Leicester going to get pumped for 5 or 6 here. Man City had all the possession, were dominating everything, but Leicester's structure was ridiculous. They were so well structured, and Vardy was almost sitting in the defensive mid positions at times. I'm like, how deep do they want to go just to congest that whole area? And they were so busy with everything.
So they were sitting back and counter-attack.
Yeah. So what they do is, well, obviously Mahrez's goal was just a freak goal.
Just off a corner.
That was their only
goal.
That was their only clear-cut chance in that first half. The rest,
just to help with you, do you want to hear the stats?
yeah, I want to let me guess.
What possession would you like? Do you want possession stat?
Man City's probably about 75 or 80.
Man City's 71.7%,
Yep.
and
Jesus
Leicester 28.3. Shots on target, City 5, Leicester 7. Shots in total, City 16, Leicester 7. So every Leicester shot was on target.
Sounds like Man United Brighton.
Yeah, think about this.
Touches on the ball, Man City 847, Leicester 430.
100%. As soon as you can't penetrate that line,
Wait, how many touches did Man City passes?
Man City touches 847,
Jesus.
Leicester 430.
Jesus.
Passes, Man City 680, Leicester 267.
honestly,
Jesus Christ.
if I was to break it down,
Crazy.
I honestly messaged my mate after Leicester scored their first goal, and I went, it's not going to end what we thought it was. This is going to be very different. And my player of the match, and this is going to be very unexpected for people, was Harvey Barnes and Castagne. Mate.
Castagne's the left back, right?
Right back.
Right back.
Harvey Barnes was a workhorse. Every time Leicester got that ball, I told you how deep they were. Him, Vardy, and Castagne would just bomb. And Harvey Barnes was taking the piss in the midfield. He looked gunning. Even last week, he looked good as well. And that was their game plan. And the moment they got in behind into those not quite experienced Ake and Eric Garcia, they just ripped him apart.
Experienced. Okay, he's been in the Premier League for the last 3 or 4
I'm
years.
talking about at that level. He's new at the club and stuff, and they made him look like nobody. No one expected to see 5-2 at the end of the game.
To be fair, I thought some of the penalties were very soft.
They were very soft.
I mean, it's like if you're going to watch the highlight and watch the challenge in slow motion, yes, it was a penalty.
Yeah.
I thought two of them were soft.
Yes.
Very soft penalties. They just slight touch in the back. Soon as the striker feels that, they go down. And then that. Sadly enough, sometimes that's all it takes nowadays.
The only one that was warranted was Vardy's second, and that was when he actually got in front of Garcia quick enough.
Yeah.
And that was actually a penalty. The rest were soft, I agree. But then James Maddison's goal.
Great goal.
Oh,
Well, goal all around.
Yeah, and he looked good.
What would be so James Maddison's goal?
Mahrez.
I'm sorry, I'm giving it
Mahrez
to Mahrez's goal.
Callum Robinson.
By the way, has City got players out?
Injured.
Yeah.
Yes, a
They
lot.
do?
Aguero, Jesus,
Jesus.
Because their bench is not great.
Otamendi just went to Benfica in a change deal for Diaz.
So here this is as their subs. City subs on the weekend. Laporte, decent.
He's only coming back from injury,
Zinchenko,
though.
Yeah.
Tommy Doyle, Cole Palmer, Ferran Torres, that new signing, and Liam Delap. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, Liam Delap looked okay, but he's...
Like, to be fair, you notice that some of the Man City players and stuff, when you see a player on the field and they have a number over 40 or even over high 30s, you're like, whoop, youth player.
Yeah, and the best way to put it is, unfortunately, yes, they are not having Jesus and all these players in positions that they want. Like, Sterling was playing up front, and he was trying to go against Soyuncu, Amati, and
Sionku's good too.
yeah, he was gone. And there was another centre back too, but they were not. They were trying to penetrate. They couldn't penetrate because of how tight they were. So they play over the top. Sterling's like 5'2". You ain't going to get over the three centre backs there.
Well, I mean, they were trying to get in behind kind of thing. But
Yeah.
if Leicester was sitting as deep as they said, there is no in behind.
Yeah,
You've got the next 3 games.
I know.
So get to work. Boy.
I know, it's okay. So, yes, my player of the match, goal of the match was Mahrez, bouncing towards him, right foot.
What are you doing goal of the round?
Well,
But they said
of the game.
of the game.
We haven't been doing that.
You all have done it.
What we're going to do... No, we've not been doing goal again. I just said Rashford's because, I mean,
Anyway.
I'm not going to say Ings was the goal of the game for Southampton and
cares?
Burnley.
Move
That was
on.
one
Okay,
game.
anyway. Well, player of the game was Harvey Barnes. I think was a dark horse. Not many people gave him the recognition he deserved. They spoke about Vardy having his hat-trick, blah, blah, blah. But Barnes did bits.
He was a machine.
He was on bits.
He was a machine.
Him and Castagne, great. Next game.
West Ham Wolves.
Your dark horse,
West
buddy?
Ham. Mate, I told you about them. They'd be sneaky to watch. Wolves just don't look like... It was either...
That was a surprise.
It was either strategically planned by West Ham to undo them, or Wolves just weren't themselves because they had Semedo playing. He looked good, but West Ham just always had space on the ball, and I didn't get it. Yet they had their standard offensive dangers that Wolves have, and I feel that they just took that out completely. And one of their best players was their centre mid.
Declan Rice.
No.
So if you had to
Side check or something.
Suchek.
So if
Suchek.
you had to pick West Ham tactical well performed or Wolves poor performance, which one was more?
I'd probably say West Ham because that was what forced them. Because when Wolves are on the ball, don't get me wrong, offensively they look good, but West Ham just seemed to get it back and just cut all their space back. Like Wolves were never really penetrating, just like Chelsea were with West Brom. Like they couldn't penetrate them, and just like Man City couldn't with Leicester, they just strategically looked better.
Look at the players on West Ham's bench too. Felipe Henderson, Lanzini, Yarmolenko, Haller.
That's what I told you. Haller. Yeah, I told you that
Haller.
against Arsenal. I said they had a good bench, and they looked like Felipe's not been getting to the team because they just have been playing really well with the team they've got. Bowen is in Felipe's position.
Who the hell is Bowen?
He got
No
player.
idea.
He got player of the match by this.
Yeah, I know, but he just turned up and scored 2
Yeah,
goals.
I think so. It will be between him and that Soichu, whatever his name is. They would have been player of the game.
Well, that was, I mean, Leicester beating Man City wasn't a surprise. The 5-2 is what surprised me at first, and then I saw they had 3 penalties.
Yeah.
Which makes, I looked it up, it was like 5 or 6, maybe 7 penalties this year out of Leicester's 11 or 12 goals. So half of their goals this year have been penalties. So Manchester United are not the penalties masters this year.
Yeah. Well, anyway, back to West Ham. Yes, that was the breakdown for
Good
that.
result.
Is that it?
Great result. No, there's one more. There's 2 more.
No,
games.
man. Is that it for West Ham?
Yeah, there's not really much else to touch on. I think they just pounced on a very poor Wolves, but they just also strategically looked very
Wolves
good.
maybe don't look as strong as they maybe were last season or at this stage.
They
Maybe
will-
they haven't got back to that level.
Semedo does need time to adjust.
They will miss Jota. I'm telling you.
Oh, no, they will. Definitely.
That was a great signing.
100% they'll miss him.
He was the second top goal scorer and half-time was on the bench. But yeah.
The next match was a bit of a tricky one. Well, not tricky, but Fulham Villa.
Yeah.
This was going to really show one if I think if Fulham were going to be
anything more than a relegation side.
Correct, and it really showed where Villa were going to sit too. Really,
Villa look good. They've still got a 100% record so far, and the signing for them is, well, obviously Watkins from the Championship was top goal scorer, but picking up Martinez from Arsenal, he's had a couple of good games, and he's looked solid. He's looked commanding.
Would Fulham be a team to test him though? As it doesn't, like, I'm sure if I watched the Aston Villa Fulham highlights, it'd be like Aston Villa chances and maybe one shot or two shots from Fulham, but not really a testing save.
Yeah, but it's all of it. Like, he's got to be switched on.
I'll be much more critical watching him maybe when he's up against an attacking team. Like, yeah, that's just basically it. But then, like, because Fulham, they've lost all their games, haven't they? West Brom have lost all. West Brom got their first point.
Yeah.
So, was there another team that's not won a game yet? I think there was.
There's a couple.
There's two teams. There was like
Burnley as well, I think.
There was like two teams that haven't won a game yet.
hang on, I'll tell you.
Because that's it. The promotion teams really
Fulham and Sheffield at this stage. Burnley.
Yeah, Sheffield don't look good this year either.
There's a couple of clubs here that have only played twice.
Yeah, I know that. I'm taking that part into account. But, like, the promoted teams, and like high Premier League teams, should not drop points to the promoted teams. So when a team drops points against the promoted ones, that's sort of when you see, like, oh, this team might not be looking that good this year. But let's see. So what is it? Fulham, Sheffield, and West Brom. They're the bottom three.
Yeah, and then Burnley.
Yeah.
But it's I think at this rate they need to change unless Scott Parker's going to go. If the team doesn't change, that's the next thing the manager goes.
I find that harsh.
It's harsh, but that's reality. That's a club as a business. That's the next step.
Yeah, I know.
So they've got to be careful.
Last game, isn't it?
The last match was
Arsenal,
obviously
Liverpool.
Yes.
Yeah, I think many people expected that.
Yep.
Look, best way to describe it was we had a strategic plan. It obviously went in our favour when we got the goal. We shouldn't have. What's that laugh for?
The goal was from Robertson's mistake.
I'm not saying that's the plan. When did I say that was the plan?
You said they had a tactical plan.
No,
and it
I
worked
said
when you scored.
I said we had a plan and it helped that the goal happened.
You said no, the plan
because we were taking everything. We were taking all the pressure and we were working.
Let him talk.
I'm trying to get him to swear.
The moment we scored, yes, it was a dodgy goal, whatever it was. If he didn't mishit it, it wouldn't have gone over Alisson. Whatever it was a mistake. It was a crap cross to a crap deflection to a crap finish that went over a keeper falling over. It was a crap goal. That switched Liverpool on. They took it up a notch. As you saw, they just put two past us. Rob Holding, instantly know for a fact he shouldn't have played. It should have been Gabriel, our man of the match player who's had two man of the match performances, did not play.
Was Gabriel injured?
Nope.
Why?
Benched.
I don't know why they weren't
If
starting
he's not playing tomorrow morning, which I don't even care because it's a cup game, still, he should have played over Holding. Louise looked like one of our strongest players. And then Tierney on the other left.
I don't think Tierney should have started.
They played him 100%
They played him at centre back.
He's been playing centre back for the last 5-10 games.
Who was at left back?
Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
No. You know I don't like him.
He was on the right.
Yeah,
he was on the left and he was dropping in. Sorry.
You know I don't like him, so we don't have to go there.
Look, the best thing was we took everything, and when it was 2-1, we had a big clear-cut chance. Danny Ceballos got brought on for Xhaka, and he was the changing point. He got brought on. He brought on so much flair and actually energy. He put Lacazette through one-on-one. He missed a clear-cut chance, one-on-one at the keeper, which he normally scores.
Good Alisson save or bad Lacazette?
Bad Lacazette.
Okay.
Bad Lacazette.
So that's what I mean. The Leeds one is like a better save because it wasn't a terrible shot.
It was a bad Lacazette. It was a great ball. We beat their back line and he just took an extra touch. But overall, I can make all these excuses, but Liverpool overall deserved it.
They said I was listening to it on the way to work and the word suffocated came out a lot. So just Liverpool just would not let Arsenal do anything really. Like the fact that they got that goal was quite lucky.
Yeah. Their press was...
You're up against the champions, and Liverpool look just as, if not more dangerous than they did last year.
I think they're going to get pulled over a couple of times by some teams. And I'll tell you why. They play on the offense, but a vulnerable offense. Because we're not even in any shape or form to challenge for the... I don't even think we're going to challenge for top 4, let alone the number 1 of the league. We're not going to. But we had 1 or 2 string of passes, which we beat their centre midfield line, and we were 5-on-2 or 5-on-3 at the back. They play all their midfielders high with their strikers. That's how they press.
Yeah, they press.
And the moment you beat that
You gotta break the
midfield
lines.
line, we were 5-on-3 or 5-on-2, and we just fluffed it, or we played too much respect for them.
That's where the danger part I sort of see, because when Liverpool were playing this sort of style, they just seem to... They've been working on it, but then last year it's like they kind of got it right. And as you saw, they won by like 30 points. I mean, Man City weren't great last year. Well, not as their usual.
No one was good last year.
No one was as good. Well, Man United were right. We got third. Post-COVID. But now it's like Liverpool have been playing this style for a while. So people have had more than enough time to know we've played against Liverpool playing like this. We can this is going to be our sort of game plan to try and attack it. But then they're starting to bring in players like Jota. They brought in players like Thiago. So they're thinking of other ways that they need to do more with what they have already.
Yeah.
So as soon as Thiago gets settled and they start working out new
Thiago
things,
just got coronavirus.
Oh, on a side-
100
on a-
no,
on
I
a-
mean
on a-
100%.
On a side note,
I mean 100% he got coronavirus.
did someone pass it on to him?
I don't know how he got it, but he got tested positive, and that's why he didn't play against Arsenal. Sorry.
Oh, that's a G up.
I know, but...
Thanks for completely pieing off my past joke.
Yeah, lol.
Someone pass it on to him.
But
All right, we done?
regardless, yes, Arsenal got outplayed.
Dale Sleepy.
Player of the match...
Dale Sleepy.
What's going on, mate?
Player of the match was probably... not Naby Keita, not one of the mid... You could say the centre-backs, but if I was going to say, I'd probably say... Yeah, I'd probably go Fabinho.
For a minute.
He didn't play in centre-back like he did the week before or the week before, but he literally played in there and he orchestrated
All
it.
right, cool, done.
Cut it up.
Put a fork in it.
Eat it with a spoon. Thank you very much.
See you
Thank you very much.